Today, I have been entrusted with the responsibility to deliver a talk on Library Liaison program for research support services. Libraries play a very significant role in preserving and strengthening our democracy. We, the librarians, have the passion of identifying, selecting, acquiring, maintaining, and disseminating information to our user community. And we the librarians, today, the more emphasis is on to support to our academic and research community for better visibility to strengthen our institution credibility in achieving a quality and excellence. My outline of presentation would be to touch upon on building the scientific temper, on the philosophy that publish or perish has been the buzzword for which we the librarians have to support to the research community in building the scientific temper. To achieve this with dynamism of librarianship, what would be the role of library liaison officers that we the librarians have to render in this technological arena? Let us discuss various types of research support services that a library can offer to our user community with few live examples. In fact, to provide this sort of a research support services, definitely we the librarians need to have a very strong research skills so that we can impart the research support services to the user community that we will also touch upon. And see, today it's a very high time for librarians to be very innovative and extend value added services in the light of the challenges of librarianship that we are facing today. So this is going to be our overview of my presentation today. Today, the concept of library liaison officer has become a very imminent, and according to Jennifer Church Duran in the year 2017, very clearly depicted that the 21st century library is valued less for the content of its collections and more for the scope and quality of the distinctive services in its portfolio of librarians. So this means to say that there has been a more emphasis on value added services or quality based services for a librarian. This purely reveals the fact that the role of a librarian as a liaison officer is very significant to support the academic and research activities in the academic and research environment. You see, the concept of this library liaison officer is a very technical and it looks to be very fancy terminology that acts as an intermediate between collection and users with innovative support services. See, we the librarians, besides extending the routine activities of a library, the librarians as a library liaison officer has to play a very significant role in ensuring good communication between the library resources and its institution. And the library has to possess very sound knowledge of academic and research skills. Then only we can act as a library liaison officer to support the research services of our institute or a higher educational institution wherever we are serving. See, the basic philosophy of Dr. S.R. Ranganathan is to provide the information to the user at the right time, at the right place. See, when we look at the concept of library liaison, it's not a very new concept for us. It's a very old concept wherein our Dr. S.R. Ranganathan, the father of library science in India, has already noted and mentioned the distinctive role of a librarian as a liaison officer. And we, the librarians, have to act as a catalyst. We, the librarians, have to act as an intermediate to cater to the academic and research needs between the collections and the users, between the collections and the services. So that is the library liaison is all about. In fact, the evolution of liaison librarianship, if we look into the history of our librarianship, definitely these liaison librarians have been playing a very significant role since very long years, acting on a different terminology that we use for a librarian as a subject specialist or a subject librarian, academic liaison officer, and a subject bibliographer, and so on. See, today the librarians are also termed internet librarian, the knowledge manager, the digital librarian, or technical information officer, or information scientist, or so on. See, what does it all indicate? It that we, the librarians, are the liaison officer, wherein he has to play a significant role in promoting the optimum utilization of the library resources, facilities and services that is available to meet to the diversified needs of a user, for which he cannot be very passive librarian. He should be active. He should come beyond four walls of a librarian, and he cannot say that my library job is to just to collect the books, classify and catalog it, and maintain and disseminate. This is a routine activity. You need to do your job beyond librarianship. See, for that you need to be active, and your visibility of a librarianship, your survival of a librarianship purely depend upon how innovative you are, how value-added services you are rendering. So that is all plays a very important role, and your role is more to build the institutional strength in terms of its quality and research productivity. See, now why are we talking more of a liaisonship? Are we not doing this job in the library? No, definitely we are doing it. And this, you see, liaison means if we are doing this role of a library liaison because we have a subject expertise. You see, we have the capacity to play a significant role in advancing the teaching, research and learning mission. See, the core functions of library remain the same only. Okay, but only thing is, because of our subject expertise and because we understand better about the institutional strength, and for that we need to play a significant role as a library liaison officer. And what is the expectation from the librarians in this 21st century is that we have to act as a liaison officer between the library and researchers in their domains as knowledgeable consultant who understand the uniform and unique information cycle of a teaching faculty and a research scholar in a different discipline. So that is the expectation from a librarians, from the perspective of an institution or from the perspective of a research community. So in order to do this, see, in our endeavor to act as an liaison officer, see the role of a librarian, you see, and when we look from the international perspective, they call it as, the subject librarians. you see, they have a sufficient library manpower in their respective libraries, and they are going to have a specialized librarians for different types of a section, for different types of a collection. Maybe there's a reference librarian, maybe a business librarian and a copyright specialist, maybe a teaching and learning librarian, or a science reference librarian. This sort of an subject-based librarian acting as a liaison is very, very eminent and clear in the international perspective. But when we look from the perspective of Indian context, you see here the major challenge that we are facing, see there are lakhs, there are many degree colleges. Quantitatively, there are more number of degree colleges, and equally there are a large number of state universities in India. And majority of the state universities, as I come from the state university environment, see majority of the state university libraries do not have a full-time librarian. Then how can we think of making a partition and allocation as a different types of a librarian when our own university do not have a single full-time librarian? So let me give you an example of our state universities in Karnataka only. We have totally 25 state universities, and among 25 state universities, there is no single full-time librarian available in the state university. Then how can we talk of liaisonship? Because with the limited staff that we are having, so we have to do the best possible services to the user community, isn't it? So, of course, these are all the limitations. We are living in this limitation, and within the limitations, how best we render our services to our user community, that plays a significant role. Okay, see, today if we look from the different angle at a national or international perspective in rendering the research support services to the user community, there are different areas, where we can, as a librarian, can render the research support services. See, from the perspective of international and also a national perspective of India, if we see, these are all the liaison framework models. One area is on content and collection and development. Second is making ourselves engaged with all sort of academic and research activities in our campus. And third would be on the help services, personalized services, maybe ask a librarian or a virtual reference context. And we need to support for a scholarly communication by our faculty, maybe in the form of scientific articles or a patent or a research project. And for that, so the digital research tools plays a very significant role, and we have to support with the help of the digital research tools to our academic community, and what sort of outreach services we can do it, that we have to think in terms of a liaison framework model. Leadership is one such thing that is very required in this Indian context to extend all sort of a liaison framework model services, and we have to exhibit the skills so that especially in the context of a NAC or a NIRF ranking of our institution, and we have to support as a liaison officer, and also with respect to fundraising, we need to do a lot of innovative services to our user community. So here, the research support skills, probably the context of librarianship, we deal with the entire gamut of knowledge, and it is only librarianship, it is only a librarians who possess research skills better than any other technical or any other teaching faculty, because these skills make librarians very unique and skilled in rendering research support services. See, our fantasy, our passion of librarianship lies in the fact that we don't deal with only one subject. We deal with all the subjects that are being incorporated in our institution. See, that skill of research skills or academic skills or innovative skills, see, we the librarians possess better than any other faculty in our institution. That is the beauty. For that, librarians should be very passionate and very positive. If we look from the angle of the employability of library science, you see the status today of employability is very challenging for librarians. Every year, the students are coming out from the master degree, and also they are completing their PhD and also getting through NET and JRF. What is the probability of getting a job? Is a very serious concern when we look from a Bachelor of Engineering or MBA. See, there is definitely year by year there is a decline in the employability. See, less than 50% of the employability in case of engineering or other areas. And how about a library and information science? See, for that we need to incorporate the practical aspects in our curriculum, so that whatever the industry, whatever the higher education sector demands from the librarians should be incorporated in the syllabus of library information science, so that our incumbent library professionals will be more of a practical in nature, more of a need based in the corporate sector or higher education sector to render the different types of innovative and research support services. But here, in the situation that we are living in the Indian context, see, qualitatively, we are all advancing. Gradually, there is an improvement in the librarianship when we compare to last a decade. Now, definitely, the libraries are in a better position. They are rendering better services. They are more of an automation. But when we see from the angle of IITs or NITs or IIMs or a Thapar University or a Barnett University, they are all exceptionally excellent. They have been doing a very good job in rendering the research support services to their user community. But when we compare to majority of the degree colleges in India, majority of the state universities in India, are we really playing the significant role that is desirable? Is a question that needs to be answered by our librarians. See, in spite of these challenges, in spite of these limitations, we are sincerely making an effort to render a quality-based services to the user community. And see, today there has been lot of emphasis on the research practices in the university, and for this the librarian should take up a job, take up this task. This should model these, this sort of an documentation or a guideline from the UGC should become a model for a librarian to motivate him to support our institute and follow the different research practices based upon the UGC guideline and support to our institute in building the better research productivity. And I'm damn sure that there is no other person can do justice for a research support to the university or institution other than a librarian. And there is another motivation for a librarians in rendering the research support services is that very recently the University Grants Commission in 2019 has made it an obligatory to have one course called Research and Publication Ethics as a mandatory for all the doctoral students, for all the PhD students as a PhD coursework with 2 credit and 30 hours. See that all this different theory and practice, it's all a cup of tea of librarians. And see, we the librarians can better teach than any other teaching faculty in our institute. That is the motivation, and we the librarians are also already taking this credit of conducting the classes in our respective institute. One of the best example is in Bennett University, wherein Dr. Sanjay Kataria is already taking the classes for this research and publication ethics, which comprise of a 2 credit and 30 hours. See, all these justifies the fact that we the librarians have to play a very significant role in our institutional building, in our research productivity of our institute. See, now let us see what are all the different areas that we, the librarians, can support our students, research scholars, and teaching faculty in their academic and research endeavor. And for that, within the limitations, we have to understand what is our strength and weaknesses, opportunities, and challenges. Okay. So, our strength of rendering the research support services in our institute is our collections. Our collections are the real strength to our libraries. Okay, so we have today, the strength lies in the fact that we have a plenty of print resources. We have a plenty of electronic information resources. These electronic information resources it may be a consortia based resources that we are getting in our institute, or it may be a subscribed electronic resources, or it may be a free open electronic resources that are available in our institute. So with these sort of electronic resources, with these print collections, we can really contribute and support to our academic and research endeavor. But only thing is how beautifully, how effectively you are going to make use of your existing collections to cater to the academic and research pursuit of your faculty and students is challenging. Today, there has been a bigger challenge or a bigger question that is being posed on librarians, that there is a underutilization. Okay, so we have been said that अरे library में बहुत कुछ है मगर कितना लोग ये collections use कर रहे हैं. So this is a question that is being asked to the librarian, and sometimes there is also a challenge for the post of a librarian. Is there any necessity? See, library is going to be there even after the emergence of electronic resources today, tomorrow, and future also. There cannot be any substitute for a librarian. But we the librarians, with the passion and with the active initiation, we have to ensure that the collections in the library are met or utilized properly by our teaching faculty and students, for which we have to be very, very active. Okay, so today these electronic resources, we are in a position to provide the access to these collections to our user community, and we are monitoring the usage also. Whenever there is a shortage in a usage, we the librarians have to make a orientation, conduct a workshop, something like your personal the attention is required for its optimization. Okay, and Kindly note that no faculty or no research scholar can publish an article or do the PhD work or any sort of an R&D work without the library, and for that we have to ensure that there is a proper usage of our electronic resource or print technology is made to our faculty and students. And we today, to support to our academic and research activities of our institute, we have plenty of electronic resources which may be either consortia based or subscribe or free. Just to name, the Gestor is one of the most highly qualitative publisher, wherein we get thousands of electronic journals for our social science faculty and scholars. See, in this direction, we have plenty of resources like Oxford University Press, Stranger Link, Taylor and Francis, and Web of Science, Emerald, Cambridge. See, if we start naming about the Oxford University publications or Cambridge, there are plenty of electronic resources which we are getting in our institute. There is no dearth of electronic resources or also the print resources in our institute. But what is the dearth is the challenge of usage. That is where we the librarians have to give more concentration. Okay, we the librarians think that we are giving a link to all the free resources or all the electronic resources and all the print collections available in the library is enough. Automatically the faculty or student, they will use it. No, that is not possible. Okay, if you think that your library website is good, the faculty and students are automatically they are all using it, then that is not a better understanding. For that, we have to make an extra effort to ensure that our resources are utilized, because always there is a concept of cost effectiveness. When your resources which are subscribed by your library are being utilized, then only the next time you can show the statistics of usage and procure. Otherwise, why and how your institute is going to support you? It is not possible. See, for that, you are continually monitoring the usage is very much required. Let me give you one of the best example from the JGate. See, JGate is a portal which is a great. It is one of the best international databases available in India, which comprises of around 63 million journal articles and 14 million open access articles are available in this. And it contains more than 50,000 of top class scientific journals, in which 24,700 plus are full text journals. See, we say that as a librarian, I have given access to JGate. Fine. Then whether your job is over by giving access to JGate? No, you have to tell them the searching skills, how to make a best use of the resources available to them. For that, your marketing strategy, okay, conducting a regular workshop for each type of a source is very much required. And here in this JGate, how many teaching faculty or how many of our research scholars are aware about how to get the up-to-date resources which are relevant to their subject from this JGate. How many of our librarians have trained our scholars to register in this JGate and give their area where they are interested, give the journals, which journals they are interested. See, once if they are creating their credentials in the JGate, every time whenever there is a new resource to their topic, whenever there is a new article being published in their interested research journal, automatically that will come to their email ID and the faculty can start using it. See, this sort of an orientation is required by a librarian to the faculty, so that see, our users are not missed with any information. See, if we are talking about research support services, and this is possible only with the e-content, which is our strength. Okay, for that, how best you do it is very important. So for that, for each resource, you need to have a comprehensive training to our faculty and the students. And see, this sort of an self-registration by your faculty and students will keep themselves alert. What is the new trend that is happening? So this is the beauty of the resources that are available today. And one other thing in the librarians can support to our faculty and students is like, why can't we think of developing discovery tools like Ex Libris? There are so many other discovery tools which acts as a single interface. You see, the library is having its own catalog of its collections. So it's having the institutional repository, okay, it's having subscribed resources, it's having the resources which are purchased, and also the national consortia, and we have integrated so many free resources. Whenever a student or a faculty wants to search in the by using a keyword or by using a title of the article, then he has to search the resources individually based upon the database. Okay, but if at all you are having a discovery tools like Ex Libris or a Fatigate, then when you give a keyword for searching by our faculty or students, it will tell you all the relevant articles available from your catalog, from your database, from your journals. See, this is a single search portal, and that is the beauty of discovery tools. Of course, the Ex Libris Alma is a bit costlier affair, but there are so many other platforms which we, the librarians, can think of as a single search to facilitate our users to search the information. Okay. See, and besides that, today, especially in this pandemic, we are talking about providing access remotely, because see, most of the students and the faculty, they are not coming physically to the library. Under such circumstances, to support to our research services of our library, we need to start a remote access, and this is being widely provided by libraries in our India. Maybe you are using a EZ proxy or a shibboleth service from the Inflinet. We have to render the remote access facility to our user community, so that though they are physically not coming to your library, but they are in a position to access all types of resources from their desktop, whether they are within India or outside India. So that is the beauty of a remote access feature that has been integrated in a library, and this is very, very essential in this pandemic COVID-19. And this is the one shibboleth service, nothing but a remote access facility rendered by Inflinet Center, and which we are also using in our Gulbarga University. And it is not enough that you only support your academics and research only with the subject-based resources. It is also very important for librarians to support your user community to build them a very competitive world. Means it's not just mere subject-based knowledge, and we need to support our academics with a competitive examination resources. For that, see, we wanted our students and research scholars to become an IAS officer. Okay, they should flourish in state banking system, LIC or for IFS, so whatever. So for that, for all the competitive examinations, we have to build and improve the skills of our students and our research community. For that, we the librarians think of developing a specialized collection for purely a competitive based electronic resources and print collections. Okay, see one thing, the one beautiful resource which I could find is a copy kitab. See, using this copy kitab, the students can, they can take a online test and they can know where they perform in a KAS or a IAS or a banking or any NDA examination, and this provides a lot of plenty of resources. So I think this is a way we have to support to our research community with building the competitive edge in the present challenges. See, this is another very novel project which the Gulbarga University has developed in supporting our academic and research community so that we support for their competitive examination and for the personality development and capacity building. So we have started one digital knowledge project. Here we have focused on vernacular language. See in Punjab, it will be Punjabi. See how many electronic resources are available in our own regional language. We thought in that way. We wanted to build our society with a competitive edge. For that, it is also equally important on the part of an institution to think of developing the resources in the regional language. And here under this project of nearly 1 crore plus amount which has been invested under this digital knowledge project, we have digitized more than 1,200 books which are available in Kannada language and which are of a very basic to our people, our society who are residing in the rural area. And and we have connected around 1,000 Gram Panchayat libraries in this project so that they can read the books which are available in their own language and support to the academic community. So that is the beauty of a knowledge project which is developed in the vernacular language. Okay, and how the libraries can also support to our academics is, so why can't we think of developing a Kindle based collections? Of course, many of the libraries have already started doing it, and we are also have started having so tabs are very cheaper now, maybe a 10,000 plus. Kindle is a bit cheaper still again. So for a Samsung tab, we have purchased around 20 tablets, so these tabs, and we have subscribed to Amazon Kindle Unlimited. So wherein we are getting a large amount of collections which are very useful to our students and research scholar, and by having a subscription to Kindle Unlimited edition, it is just less than 2,000 rupees for one login ID. Even if you can go for a 2-3 login ID, or you can use the same login ID for a Kindle or a Samsung tab, and that is the way you are supporting your academic community. So that's a very beauty part, that we can really think of and developing this sort of an Kindle based collections to our user community. And see, the concept of a pattern-driven collection or a shelf-ready acquisition policy, it's all coming in India also slowly. Okay, we are all thinking of, especially the engineering colleges nowadays. They are developing a concept called subject course pack. So under the subject course pack, I have seen so many websites, of the engineering colleges. See, for first semester, whatever the collections are recommended by the faculty, those books are made available, those textbooks are made available to the students. So there is no diversion of moving from one source to another. there is a systematic course pack has been developed for one subject for one semester. So the students, they look only for those books and read and get through the examination. See, that sort of a subject course pack is emerging in Indian context. That's a good sign, See, for a student, if at all for a one subject, if all the resources, maybe print or electronic, is made as a ready-made tool, ready-made source for a single user, then it becomes easy for him that he can use it optimally. And I don't agree with the concept that there is a decline in the usage. Okay, when we are rendering a services remotely or online, so we normally say that there is a decline in a physical usage of a library. Definitely there is a decline in a physical usage of a library, but there is an increase in usage of online resources that we have to appreciate the role of a librarian. Okay, see, this is all about research support services which we can think of, and in addition to that, if at all we are thinking of providing the research support services, definitely we have to build the strong IT infrastructure in the library. See, this is the one beautiful virtual learning resource center and a digital library at Gulbarga University, which comprises of 100 computer systems with 3 mainframe servers using optical fiber cabling, purely Wi-Fi, and we used 1 Gbps lease line of internet connectivity, wherein we support our academic and research community to access not only the electronic books or electronic journals, but also indigenous databases like thesis and dissertations, question bank, or some of the rare materials which have been digitized, that we are making a facility in this research cell of our Gulbarga University. See, we need to build up, when we're talking about the research support services, there is also equally important that we create an environment wherein the students and the faculty, whenever they enter into the library, they feel very comfortable. They feel, we have to make a provision of a proper air conditioning or a non-air conditioning, whatever. But a beautification, this is the one entrance of our library where we have made a provision for sitting to our students and scholars with a Wi-Fi facility. They can bring their laptop and they can also connect it even through the mobile also, sit comfortably, okay, and they can start using the resources. See, my only concern is when we talk about the research support services, for that we have to create an environment, we have to create a strong IT infrastructure and a conducive environment so that our user community are going to make use of all sort of resources. And this is one of the beautiful green library concept, wherein here the students can come 24/7, even with a proper lighting also, and they can start using, they can read not only the print resources, or even they also can bring their laptop, and it's all purely Wi-Fi connected in our region, and they can start using. So these are all the things, small things, we can improve our library system to render the research support services. And this is a very, very novel idea. Especially, I'm sure that the Thapar University or Bharat University or some IITs or IIMs, they have started the concept of a research common, wherein the research scholar, they can engage and have a discussion and develop the research bent of mind. So these sort of things has to come slowly, because I am coming from the background of a state university. I see in my university we have a 300 to around 450 degree colleges are affiliated, and sometimes when I'm looking at the infrastructure and the number of staff available in the library, I feel very pity, sometimes यार तुम बड़े बड़े बातें वड़ा पाव खाते, बड़े बात बोलते हैं, मगर practically क्या, do we have a research commons in the degree colleges? See, sometimes it pains also. See, it's not that, not with a negative mind, but with a positive mind, the things will change, and it is drastically changing day by day, and there is an improvement in the degree colleges with respect to infrastructure, with respect to collections, with respect to our skills also. And nowadays, the younger librarians are very, very strong in the research skills. Because of the research skills that we possess as a librarian, we are in a position to render the research support services to our user community and strengthen our institution. And now, why can't we think of starting a separate unit? Okay, separate unit called research cell or research support cell in the Indian libraries. Already we have started. I'll just show you in the next slide. Because there we need, suppose say we have around 10 to 15 librarians in one institute. You need to you need to have a demarcation. There should be a separate cell for purely research support. Whatever the research requirement of our students and the faculty, there should be a separate cell which will take care of that particular job only. No other job. Their job is to see that they support to our academic and research community. Okay, so that sort of a separate wing, just like a circulation section or a cataloging section, we need to have separate section for this research support also. Okay, and IIT Delhi has already started a separate cell, means separate wing, wherein they are all providing a research support services and outreach programs. Okay, so this is one good notion. Of course, all IITs, IIMs, or NITs, or Thapar, or big institutions and private universities, including a central university, they are doing a very, very good to support the research programs of the various university program and supporting to the user community. See, the research support services, even when we bring out the brochure of a library, there is a separate brochure called Research Support Services. So why can't we do that? And we are doing it, and definitely I know the Dr. Sriram is doing a wonderful job, and he has set a model in the Thapar University, rendering all sorts of research support services, which is a model for a younger generation to emulate. See, one of the best ways the librarian can contribute and support to our academics is to have your own research productivity. And as a librarian, we have to develop a database called IRINS, which is supported by our Influence Center. See, this is nothing but a kundali of our institute. What is the research productivity of a university, or what is the research productivity of a college? If we develop the IRINS database, wherein we try to integrate all the teaching faculty with their research, providing the simple details of their research ID, maybe a Scopus, ORCID, and the other things, we can come out with a research productivity of our institute, which will tell you how many publications your faculty has published, how many are having citations, whether it be Scopus citations or web of citations, and individual strength of the faculty we can understand by this database, which will reveal how many articles she or he has published, how many articles have been cited. Okay, what is the impact factor, what is the H index of the individual faculty or the H index of the entire institute. Everything will come to know by building this sort of an research productivity called IRINS database. I think definitely majority of the libraries are developing, and they're doing a very good job in showcasing their research to the world. And when we talk about how the library can support to the NAC, as a NAC coordinator of my Gulbarga University, see, always we think that library means under the criteria 4.2, only 20 marks are there. Then the library job is confined to only 20 marks. If at all we are thinking in that way, then this is rubbish, totally wrong. You see, library is not a component which is a separate subject. Library is a central facility, and it has to play a very important role in all the activities of the institute. See, there are 7 criteria of NAC and 1000 marks are there, and your role of librarian is not restricted to 4.2 criteria, that is only 20 marks, but you have to play important role in 1000 marks so that your institute gets A++. For that, library role is more important than any other teaching faculty, that I can say with challenge. For that, how we have to play an important role in research support services. Okay, so let me show you here. Library as a learning resource center, only 20, but there are different criteria. Like feedback process of an institution, it contains 10 marks. Okay, and teacher using ICT enabled tools, including online resources for effective teaching, it contains 6 marks. And conducting a online student satisfaction survey is 30 marks. Means these are all, you see, here library, for example, student satisfaction survey. Complete database of all the students is available in the library, and use the library, to have a feedback, because student satisfaction feedback or a survey is an important component of a NAC activity, and using your own statistical data, library data available in the library in your automation package, so that you can distribute to the students, send an email to them and get the feedback. You take an active role. Don't say that, I'm a librarian and my role is only to the library as a learning resource center, that to 20 marks. Nahi chalega. See, you have to play the important role, and especially under criteria 3, which deals with research activities of our institute. Under criteria 3, it is a librarian who has to play a very important role. You just see, for developing any research policy, the role of library is very important. And see, and workshop conducted, especially research methodology or intellectual property rights. See, all these workshop also in the library can take an important role, and developing a policy for a plagiarism policy or a code of ethics. See, all these the librarian have to play a very important role, and we have to support developing a e-content by the faculty. But if you see how many faculty are aware about e-PG Pathashala or national portals or institution repository, and it is we the librarian who has to help our teaching faculty to develop the e-content, develop the learning course material, and put in your institution repository or in the national portal like e-PG Pathashala, and in that way you have to contribute and improve your research productivity, and especially for to determine the publications of your institute, especially the last 5-year data, to determine your H-index or impact factor, especially from the databases from Scopus, Web of Science and PubMed. See, the first job, the moment the NAC comes for, especially for a faculty publication, to identify their H-index or impact factor, librarian is called, yaar aajo bhaiya, humko iska H-impact kya hai, H-index kya hai. For that, we have to play a very important role. In that way, criteria 3, we have to have a very important role to play in the NAC process, so as to other criteria. And so that's the reason as to we are really playing a very important role in this NAC process. And let us not confine to library. And out of 1000 marks, we can directly or indirectly involved in around 300 marks of the entire process of the NAC, for which we feel very proud to be a librarian of a university, having taken this sort of a task in the NAC process and supporting our research services. Of course, as I said, we have to develop a research policy, especially the policy of how to make the ethical use of library resources. So how to make a proper use of a copyright, so that there will not be any infringement of any copyright act, and how to ensure that our publications are free from plagiarism. See, these sort of services we the librarian have to do for our academic community. That is the research support services that we are doing it, and it is a librarian who are good at it. No other faculty can do this sort of a job. We have to initiate and do and develop this sort of a research policy concerned to ethical usage, copyright or plagiarism. Okay, and today, See, many of the faculty or many of the research scholars who are pursuing their PhD, or even the faculty who are applying for any major research project or a funding. Okay, so they have they have challenges. Or yeah, where to publish my article, because especially in the state university, see, our research scholars, they want to publish the article in UGC care approved journal only. So they want to publish the article in Scopus index journals only, or a Web of Science. See, for that they need to understand what is the impact factor and what is the H index, okay, how to create the research ID or overseat ID or Scopus, and which are the sources available, and how I get myself visible, and how to get my research work free from plagiarism. See, if I'm applying for a funding, if I'm applying for a fellowship, how to go about it. See, these are all the challenges which the faculty or a research community is facing, and it is we, the librarian, have to play a very important role in all these aspects. Okay, in all these aspects, we have to play an important role and support our academic community, maybe by means of sensitization, maybe by one-to-one discussion, maybe by conducting a workshop or a webinar of this nature. So that's the beauty of a librarian. And here, see, most of the time, the institute, they understand the H index or impact factor. But sometimes, the institute, maybe the faculty at higher level, they don't understand what actually this H index is all about, or what is the impact factor. And it is a librarian who can tell them, sir, H index is for an individual, H index for our institute, H index is not for a journal. Sometimes, some petty, some ridiculous questions, some faculty or our management says, get me the impact factor of my article. Sir, you won't get the impact factor of all your articles. Impact factor is only for a journal. Impact factor is not for a institute. So H index for an institute. See, we have to clarify them. Okay, because they will not be aware. So in that way, we are improving our research support service for our institution and for our academic community also. See, we have to teach to our faculty how to create, how to calculate the H index. Of course, the ready-made, the databases like Web of Science or Scopus, they provide you the H index. That's not an issue. But even then, you have to give a orientation to the faculty, see how to organize your paper and calculate the H index. Like organizing a paper, ranking, based upon your citations, you have to organize from the increasing to decreasing order, and wherever the number of citations matches with your paper, that should be the H index. Okay, here is the H index will be the 5, right? So the differently, even we also give a trade. We are supposed to give, even if they are not interested or whatsoever. From the perspective of your institution, you have to start orienting about the research skills. You have to provide a workshop. You have to render different types of innovative services by conducting classes to your faculty and the research community, and as to how to calculate the impact factor. See, they think that impact factor comes at one stretch. No, impact factor is for the calculated only for a journal. That too for the for example here. So for the last 2-year citation, whatever they have received, so for that they will get the impact factor, and not for the 10 years articles. So impact means the citation for the last 2 years and divided by the factor, so number of recent items published. That gives you the impact factor. And in the Scopus, they say how they calculate the impact factor is all the citations in the current year for the articles which are published in the preceding 2 years divided by total articles that is published in the preceding 2 years will be calculated. So that's how we need to understand to our faculty this is how the impact factor is calculated. Okay, and also we have to train our faculty. See what is the score that you get if you publish in an UGC care journal. If you don't publish in UGC care journal, what are the scores that you are getting? If you are publishing an edited book, how much marks you are getting? See, these sort of classes, by the librarian, definitely it will improve the visibility of a librarian. सो टीचिंग फैकल्टी के लोगों को मालूम पड़ेगा, अरे भैया हमारा लाइब्रेरी तो बहुत शाना है, हम समझे थे हम शाना है, मगर हमसे ज़्यादा तो लाइब्रेरी निकल गया. So this sort of an thing has to come in the mind of our teaching faculty and in the mind of our management. See, we cannot demand. Demand means, see, normally what happens? Librarian demand that I have not been cared by our management. I have not been cared by our teaching faculty. यार वो लोग care करेंगे तो तुम शाना तो दिखाना पड़ेगा ना. You have to improve the skills. See, this sort of a thing, especially the research support skills that you are rendering in the library will make you the pakka librarian, and you will really make you a teacher of a teacher. See, this sort of academic score we need to tell to our faculty. Okay, if they are developing, you have to promote, motivate them to develop a e-content, publish in your institute repository or in the national portals, and for that they are getting different marks. Developing and complete moves in especially for credit course, they get 20 marks. This sort of a thing we have to tell them. They will not be aware. Okay. And here, even if they guide a PhD, how much mark they are getting. So, and if they publish in even in the scientific journal, also, depending upon the impact factor, they get more marks. Those things you need to tell. And we have also to tell that, you see, the first author gets 70% of the marks, whereas second author gets 30%. Whereas in case of a project which they have taken in a collaborative manner, it's a 50-50. Means that's how all these sort of a thing we have to tell them, we have to make them aware about the impact factor of a journal, where they have to publish. If the impact factor is more, they will get more marks. If the impact factor is less, they will get less marks. See, all these entire gamut of a research indicator we have to train to our faculty and scholars. Okay, so this is our job. No other person will do it. And for that, definitely, we are good at the research metric databases that is available in the library. Even if we don't have, we have the capacity to get from our network of librarians around the India and around the world. See, one best example I tell you, whenever I wanted any article, which is not available under Shodhas in the consortia from Gulbarga University, I normally chat with Sriram and send a link. So that I am not getting this article, do we have? If it is there, then immediately within a moment, within a 2 to 3 minutes, he will send back to me. So, and this sort of an, like rapport that we have to provide a research support, not only within the library, but taking the help from the other librarians. And the librarians networking is very strong when we compare to other type of networking that we can see. And these research databases, especially like a Scopus, Web of Science, or Indian Science Index or a Google Scholar, this we are very, very thorough, very, very knowledgeable. We know all the each and every bit of the significance of these databases, and this is the weakness of the teaching faculty which they are not aware, and we are training in this, and we ensure that the journals published in Scopus or Web of Science, those needs to be promoted and made known to our faculty. So also Indian Citation Index, we have to train about the Google Scholar also, even if they don't have. Of course, Google Scholar may not be that qualitatively evaluated tool, but still it holds a good. Okay, so this is the UGC care, and it is not that like where you directly can browse. No, it's not possible, because this is a UGC care list of a journal or approved list of a journal wherein a registration is required. Once you are registered, then only you can check whether a journal is whether it is approved or not. For that, registration is required. And here there are two categories. They have made two type of approved journal here. So one is a UGC care group 1, another is a UGC care group 2. See, these things you need to make the aware to your faculty. Okay, here in the group 1, it is purely in the journals which are indexed, means in this UGC, they are considered as an approved journal in the UGC care. Whereas in UGC care 2, the journals, although they are not part of an UGC care list right now, but if they are indexed in the recognized databases from Scopus or Web of Science, they are also considered as an UGC approved only. For that, the similar marks we will get, especially for a promotion or a new recruitment. All these sort of things plays a very important role. In addition to that, we have to assist to our faculty, we have to assist to our students community as to where to publish our article. Many times what happens, our faculty research scholar, he will come, sir, I have prepared my article, I want to publish, but I don't know where to publish. But I want to publish in elsewhere only. See, his concern is elsewhere, publisher, fine. But he don't know which journal he has to choose or select. At that time, see, there are options called journal finder in the different publishers here. Like in the elsewhere, a journal finder is there. Similarly, Taylor and Francis, different it is there. See, when you go to journal finder, when the article is ready, he has to just cut and copy and paste his title of the article, put his abstract here and a keyword and his area of research. Automatically, the journal finder will tell him which are the journals which are suitable for publication in the elsewhere. See, that is the beauty of the databases and the publishers are available in this electronic world. Now, those things we the librarian have to make use and support to our research community. Okay. Similarly, we have a VLA publisher, the same thing he does it. And also, if we don't have any either VLA or a general perspective, EDANS is a journal selector which will help you to choosing a right journal for your article to be published. Of course, for a Web of Science or a Scopus, see what is the beauty of that. See, for research productivity, it will tell you how many articles are published by your faculty and what is the H index or some of citation it has scored, okay, and the H index or even you can also calculate the other type of indexes depending upon the capability of our librarians, right? So these are all the citation databases we have to use. And if you are not subscribing to any Scopus, because if it is very costly, many of the institutes are not subscribing. Under such cases, we as a librarian, we need to know that there is an author search in the Scopus which is free. You can give the faculty name and then you will come to know what is the research productivity in terms of total publications available in Scopus, how many citations he has received, and what is the H index of an individual faculty. So this sort of a thing we can make use of in determining the productivity of an individual faculty. And see here, because we are part of this University of East London, wherein Shriram, Sanjay Kateria, Tripathi, and all majority of them have undergone the Commonwealth Fellowship in this University of East London. See, they have a separate unit. They call like info skills. Means here all sort of a training is imparted to the faculty and student as a regular basis. The calendar of events says that in 1 month what type of workshop they are conducting on EndNote or bibliometrics or scientometrics, or see they have a series of calendar of events. Whenever students they can see the portal, they can register and get the training from the staff. See, this sort of a training should become one important activity of a library in our Indian context also. You see, there are exceptions libraries like what I said is like IIT, IIM, Sarthapa, it's different. See, I am looking from the aspect of a state university or a degree colleges. See, this sort of a training, this sort of a workshops are not being performed as a regular activity. We don't have a calendar of training programs which we are not doing the other aspects of our library, especially the degree colleges or the state university. So once we are doing it or thrice we are doing it, fine. But this should become an important activity. Today our focus should be more on training or a workshop for optimum utilization rather than confined to your four walls of a library and doing your classification and issuing a written book. See, that is not the thing that we need to do in this 21st century of librarianship. When we see this sort of a model from the national institutes in India or from the other institutes in other part of the world, see these information skills, the calendar of events, training programs are very seriously being rendered by the trained librarians in different areas of a research skill. So that's a beauty that we have to make it in all our libraries in India. See, more than that, we also, to support our research activities in our institute, we also have to develop the concept of academic commons. Academic commons is a terminology of borrowed from UK, which says that, see, we in the university setup or in the institution, do we have, why can't we develop the subject-based software? For example, mathematics department, they require MATLAB. Okay, for statistical analysis, we require what? Statistics, SPSS or any other software. See, you make a center wherein all types of subject-based softwares are installed in the computer. Okay, so the faculty and students, whenever they want to use any subject-based software, maybe MATLAB or any other software, so they have to come to that center and use it freely, and they can get their analysis or the things done. That is the thing, the library should think of. Digital library, fine, that's another aspect. You also, in the same digital library, you also think of an academic commons center, which is purely a software based wing, wherein the users come there for testing or for their using their subject software, which are not relevant to the library, it's not like Koha software they are using. They are using the software of their respective subject. That they have to, those things we have to think and develop and procure. There may be a free open source software also. Try to install and get yourself trained and also train your faculty and students. This sort of an academic research cell has to be developed in the library for rendering the research support services. In addition to that, see, we have a reference management tool. We are good at reference management tool. Maybe a EndNote or a Mendeley. See, for a proper referencing, how to give a referencing. You see, for that, you as a librarian has to train to the faculty, train to the students and research scholars how to make use of a reference management tool. Maybe Mendeley or a EndNote or a Zotara. See, these things we have to train. And there are now we are talking about language proficiency. Of course, see, when we talk about the other parts, it's a different thing. When you talk about, say, for example, in the region where I reside, the language is especially English language is a bit poor. So at that time, why can't we think of a digital language laboratory? Or there are so many softwares which are inbuilt, which you can install, which are open source, and try to improve the language efficiency of your students. And make one class for that particular class only earmarked to improve the language of our students. So this sort of a thing we can do it. And we have to support our faculty, our department by having our own plagiarism tools. See, we are having Turnitin software or a Orkund or iAuthenticate. There are different tools are available. How the faculty or the users have to reduce their plagiarism. So plagiarism is not a suitable term. Rather, we can say it's a similarity index. See, we have to train our faculty, we have to train our users how to make use of this plagiarism tool and to ensure that their similarity index is less. Okay. So, and also the statistical support, which I was telling about the statistical packages, because nowadays for every thesis, the statistics plays a very important role. See, there we have to develop the academic commons center, and you have to train your students and the faculty so that they can make use of statistical packages and so also subject-based software. And this is the area where we, the library, can concentrate and improve our research productivity of our institution. And now the reference desk is see, this already we are doing it in our libraries. Okay, so referent, of course, see, at a bit higher level, at a technological level, Quotient Point is one of the best virtual reference services which we can render in our library. Okay, so that student anywhere 24/7, he can ask any question, and the moment you get that question to you, you immediately respond to it. It may be and the more important here is see, you have a separate reference desk if it's available in the library. See, you have to note down and make a detailed analysis of whatever the queries you receive in your library, and where there is a more query, you try to improve upon those services. So that's all, reference desk. There's a concept called a chat bot. It's a robotic technology, robot which is integrated in your website of an institute. See, even in 24/7, even the midnight, if I want any particular information, if I speak or if I type that information, so the robot, the robot will tell you, okay, gentlemen, you need information on coronavirus. Okay, go to this website, go to this particular book and download it, you will get the information. See, that sort of a robotic technologies are being developed to provide information. See, that is the beauty of a technological world. See, all these things are happening in a library, which we cannot expect, so much dramatic things are happening. And the only thing is, how best you are implementing all sort of innovative things in the library to support your research services is a bigger challenge. And making, normally the best way of marketing. Marketing should also become one of the important components of the library. There should be one or two persons whose job is only to market whatever you have. And here, Chetana, I say that, as a librarian, I have 15,000 of electronic journals, I have lakhs together of electronic book. Hey, both acha hai bhaiya, wo kaun use kar rahe kya? See, for that you need to have a marketing. Your resource discovery tool, your orientation, all that matters. So try to have a social network, you create a social network, maybe a Facebook or a Twitter, something, wherein the marketing, your strategy should be yours and your resources are being utilized. And here, more important is attitude of a librarians. See, what happens sometimes, we fed up, what is our job? We have collected resources, put everything in the library. We are asking the faculty and students to come. If they are not coming, what to do? What I can do? I can't do. See, this is very, kabhi bhi rona hai na, this is a very bad habit. You do continuously, not one day job. You are doing 1 year, you're very active, and after the second year, if you become passive, means nahi chalega. See, for that, your attitude matters a lot. You have been paid for that, and we have to build not only image of a librarian of your institute, that the faculty should tell, the management should, librarian right to ISA Raina. So that should become a model. And then only our librarianship will be flourished around the world, and it becomes a very important component. Even the students, after completion of a degree, they should say that I want to join library science, not as engineering or medical. So that sort of a thing, we have to build and do it. Fine. See, this is the one example which I wanted to highlight here. You see, this is from a Gulbarga University. I tell you, there is one state level literary exhibition was going on, wherein all the literary works are displayed. And we thought, we are also deal with information. Why can't we have a stall for our library, showcase what all we have in our library, and we have taken a stall. At this time, there were some objections or something like that. Some negative people will be there. They will tell, what we will do? It is a literary work exhibitions are there. It's a Sahitya Sammelana. What are you going to do it? Why are you wasting money? We will not come. Something, there are negative people. You showcase your library activity. What is there? Because we deal with the entire gamut of knowledge. So showcase it, and it was well received, and we get positive feedback. See, that's how it's one of the marketing strategy of showcasing to the world. आप कितना शाना रहे तो भी आपका अंदर रहा, बाहर नहीं आया, तो उसका कुछ काम नहीं है आज का तारीख पर. Okay, so this is how we have to do it. And here we have plenty of smart technologies are available in this world, and we have to implement it like RFID technology or a QR code technology. We have a discovery tool, and scientometric or webometric tools are a very, very important role in evaluating the research productivity of the university. And probably Sri Ram is one of the best research scholar, the eminent scientist in the field of scientometric. And how to have a usage tracking. We have to think, we have to develop all these sort of an areas. We have to concentrate. See, we do understand that we may not be having especially in the degree colleges or university, some other university, they may not be having a fund immediately for going for RFID. See, as and when you get, you do it. But within the limitations, we have to do all sort of best utilization of a smart technology in the library, so that we improve the productivity of our user community. Not only they are improving the research productivity of your institute, you are also improving the visibility of a librarian. That's also very important. Okay. And to conclude with, you see, in this world where the research and development is the lifeblood of modern research, and for that information is also a lifeblood of modern research to support academics. Without information, without current information, nothing can be done. So we the librarians with a strong research bent of mind, and we have that special skill where no other teaching faculty has got. With that research skill, with that sort of a research bent of mind, dealing with all types of subjects, dealing with all types of research tools available on the internet or in the publishing world, and we are good at it. So we have to have strong knowledge, strong skill of strong research skills. See, when we possess a strong research skills, then only we can render the services to our users and the institute. If you yourself do not possess the research skills, do not take much interest, then it is just impossible to justify my presentation. You should be strong enough. You should understand first and assimilate all the research skills. Then you can only impart to your research community. For that, one important thing is faculty librarian collaboration is also very important. See, you cannot say that, I am a big librarian, I sit in the chamber. If you don't interact with your faculty people, if you don't interact with your research scholar, and you sit in the remote corner saying that I am the head of the library, that will not work out. You have to be very service oriented with a smile motto. Okay, you have to interact with them. Agar teaching faculty nahi aa raha hai to you have to call them and offer the tea, cha pilao. So you make a very good network so that the usage becomes very, very apt. Okay, so it becomes a very optimum. And finally, from a single term, normally I have seen from the degree colleges, especially from the other part of the librarianship. See, normally we expect and we say that we have not been cared and library is not been much given much importance. See, don't expect anything from other people. You do your job sincerely with commitment and dedication, and we don't expect any certification from anybody. You can do wonder. You can be a most beautiful and a knowledge personality in the world, and we the librarians will have with that sort of a positive mind, we can make our librarianship as a viable discipline, as a discipline of a high demand, and improve our visibility, and thereby improve our research productivity of our institute, and also research productivity of our faculty and the user community. So with this note, I thank the organizers and Dr. Sriram for giving me this opportunity to be part of this national webinar. Thank you very much.